were three artist initiatives from different parts of the world that are supported in some way by the Arts Collaboratory, so thank you also to the Arts Collaboratory as well. The Arts Collaboratory is a transnational platform for collaboration, and as Nato mentioned, there's over 25 organizations in the Arts Collaboratory.
Two of our collaborators, as Nato also have mentioned, our funders, our funders Dune and Hifos, and then we thank them for it. And then Art School Lab, yeah?
Well, Arts Collaboratory is really a collaborative project that involves 9 contemporary art institutions that focus on educational and learnological challenges imposed by the various contexts. And the project assumes that actually each of the separate existing practices can contribute to expand knowledge sharing. Each of the spaces has specific goals, and as you can see here in the map, they are sort of organized in certain kind of programmatic affinities and are determined by certain needs in our various contexts. The approaches that organizations take regarding the pedagogical, I can get it, programs vary from conventional art education to more radical experimental ways of creating and sharing knowledge.
This event, when we got invited, it's framed as discussion, but I think before we delve into discussion between the three of us as representatives for Art School Lab, I think it would be nice to introduce you to the 9 members of Art School Lab, just like really fast, and then I'll start with, just so everyone here get a little knowledge about all 9 of us, not only the 3, and then I'll start with my own. I'm here to represent Ruang Rupa, an artist initiative built in 2000, so it's 15 years old, and after 15 years, we decided to finally realize our long-time obsession, which is just like make our own school. And this is our first poster, just, this one. And then it will look into more like the existing programs and then already running programs and initiatives that already is in Ruang Rupa, which I will talk about again tomorrow on this stage more deeply. But as Institute Ruang Rupa, we'll consider the programs and the initiatives we all have already as knowledge production tool and method. And then the second thing is, the second organization that I want to introduce is Kunci from Jogja, from also from Indonesia, Kunci Center for Cultural Studies, it's called. Founded in 1999, and it has been deeply preoccupied with critical knowledge production and sharing through publication, cross-disciplinary meetings, research, and artistic intervention. Its interest is also on vernacular education for multiple subjectivities. The contemporary issues are also dealt with creative methods, comparing them with existing academic traditions on issues such as space and urbanity, media and technology, history and memory, diasporic studies, open knowledge and sharing, up until to art history and experimental education. And then the third one that I'm going to introduce you is Cooperativo Crater Invertido from Mexico. They like to write manifestos, so I have to read it like exactly as it is. We have a lot to unlearn and unbuild. We seek to question the hierarchization of knowledge by allowing the confluence in a non-hierarchical way of opinions, knowledge, doubts, and proposals around themes and predicaments that provoke others to involve and detonate knowledge sharing. We seek to sow spaces where solidarity and enthusiasm can pass on. In the march, we try to be pending of mistakes and contradictions. We sometimes reproduce by walking through constant of self-criticism and praxis.
Our space is in Medellin, Colombia, and there's 2 spaces actually in the same city, ourselves, our space is called Casa Tres Patios, and the other space is called Platoedro, and I'm going to talk about Platoedro first. Platoedro, their educational program is called Deformation, and it emerged and continues to emerge and to unfold organically and is connected to its local context. It seeks to answer the local community's needs and desires. The method used by Platoedro is empirical, but it's influenced by biodynamics and alternative therapies such as focus-based on solutions and pedagogies, which include Reggio Emilia, Orlando Falls Borda, and Education Popular, among others. And basically the methodology has to do, it's learning by doing, it's by experimenting with art, technology, biology, communications, and it's about asking questions, instigating, and not keeping still on learning and learning. There are 3 main programs. They have different programs designed for children and young people, as well as the community in general. Matinee is a program for children between the ages of 6 and 14, and it's a space for creative collaboration and practice of nonviolence that offer children alternatives that are different from their normal contexts. Foco Critico is a program for accompanying young people's initiatives, the initiatives that the young people themselves come up with, and Platoedro provides them accompaniment in the execution and development of those projects. And the Hacker School is an open space for everyone to share and to critically think about their body, the machine, their machine, and to build and hack electronics and hardware, and to explore art and technology, and most importantly, to subvert their fears. Our space, Casa Tres Patios, was founded 9 years ago, basically as a space in which artists could work and experiment. And questioning and experimentation continue to be a part of our practice. During the several years that we've been in existence, our programs have grown and we've become more aware of the effects that the dramatic history of the city and the country of Colombia have on the way that people learn and the way that the people relate to one another. And some of these effects, and like in many places, include a lack of curiosity, a fear of making mistakes, fear of conflict, and a fear of retribution. And in order to address these issues, we've created what we call the Institute for the Development of Uncertainty. And working with diverse age groups from different socioeconomic backgrounds has led us to implement a diverse, highly flexible, hybrid horizontal methodology that borrows aspects from different forms of pedagogies, different kinds of pedagogies, that basically involve questioning, dialogue, experimentation as a premise. We also, as a part of the Institute for the Development of Uncertainty, we have some projects, one of which is called Creative Communal Laboratories for Children and Young Adults, in which we look for ways to stimulate and encourage questions and ideas, and then we look for ways to implement the ideas with the participants. We have a space in our facility, our house, which is called Cubo X. It's a space that sort of keeps the tradition of the original intent of the project, which is to provide an experimental space for local artists, and the local artists spend a month there developing new concepts, and then we give the public the opportunity to question the artists as they're developing these new concepts. So it's not just seeing the final product, it's emphasizing the process rather than the final product. We have a project that we developed with a group of hackers in our garage space, and it's called Open Source Territories. And we use peer-to-peer and open source concepts to help institutions and organizations develop more organizational communication and teamwork, the way that the open source is developed. And we have another project for art students that's called From the Idea to the Project, which incorporates processes in which the students are encouraged to share their opinions without fear of offending the other student, and help give their fellow students encouragement and advice in order to improve their artistic projects.
It's not a break for you. Raw Materials started in 2008 as a mobile site, so to speak, of discussing art and a space of critical exchange. And maybe some of you have seen this announcement passing some weeks ago, where we are introducing the idea of an institutional sabbatical. So we are currently closed, so to speak, to the public, but we are closed to study and to develop a new program, and also actually to learn from the experience that we've done for the last 5 years of programming, of publishing, of discussing, of steering a little bit the art community in Dakar and hopefully beyond. And our raw material company also stands for a critical analysis of society through art as an independent and valid thinking system. So we run our core activities, basically the discussions that we hold, and we started a biennial symposium program called Condition Report. The first one was done in 2012 around the changing of the artistic landscape in Africa, and what's the impact about it, what kind of new language is that bringing, how does that operate, how sustainable it is, and so on. And a big part of our program is also around lectures and public talks and artist talks and portfolios, and in order to engage our immediate audience in a certain kind of critical analysis of the role of art in society. And one of my friends told me 2 years ago that I'm a polyvore, which means that in a very short period of time, all our programs were accompanied by very important publications that were sort of contributing to the production of knowledge around contemporary African art. As we said earlier, Arts Collaboratory includes a set of different organizations worldwide, all mainly based between Africa, Asia, and the Latin American continent. So Almamal, which is part of the network, developed its education program since the establishment of the organization in Jerusalem in 1998, and recognizing art education as a vital component for community development and social change. Standing in the heart of the old city, Almamal programs continuously challenge tested political, religious, and social structures through art practices and cultural exchange. Through youth workshops and skills training, Almamal provides Palestinian youth and young adults with the opportunity to engage with diverse art practices and access art resources designed to encourage self-expression, aesthetic awareness, and appreciation of their surroundings. Ashkal Alwan is another organization, part of our group network community of Schoolabratory, and most of you here, I'm sure, are totally aware of the wonderful work that Christine Tomé has been doing over the past years with Homework Program Space. So maybe we can continue. And alongside, I think we can move on faster. Yeah. And Pisha is an art center in Lubumbashi, which is a binôme, a bicephal initiative between an artist and a cultural producer slash curator, naming Sami Balogi, who is here at the biennial, and Patrick Mudekereza. And Pisha is also the organization that launched the Lubumbashi Biennial. Education is considered as a cross-cutting aspect of all activities at Pisha, each having a knowledge-sharing component and attempts to give multivocal feedbacks on critical issues. So this approach is developing the concept of Bufundi, art as knowledge, in the Kiswahili language spoken in Lubumbashi. And the main programs that Pisha runs is Revolution Room, which is basically artists working with communities, oral histories, and questioning museum practices. The other program that they run is Panic, Platform of Independent Art Centers in Africa, and Lubumbashi History, Histoire de l'Art, which is a series of interviews archiving research on Lubumbashi, school, and production of thoughts. And Libre Écrire, Writers Collective, meetings, public readings, writing and dissemination of texts, and artists in residencies for local and international artists.
So part of the question is, why are we doing this? I mean, what is the point of getting together with these 9 organizations and trying to compare notes? And so we asked the same question. We've tried to come up with some answers. We're still in process. It's an experiment that we're doing, thanks to the support of our Arts Collaboratory. Part of it is because we believe basically that everybody has knowledge and that we should share that knowledge, and that extends not only to just our practices with our constituents, with our public, but among ourselves as well. And so we decided that it would be healthy and interesting if we could start to develop some sort of a knowledge base, and then what we're looking at is that aspect of it and seeing how we can continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think. I might sound like a broken record for my colleagues here, but like 1 + 1 is not doesn't necessarily equal 2. So that diagram you see right now, we're trying to figure out what's the meaning of that lines, the yellow lines. Can you hear me? Yeah. What does it mean when Ruang Rupa meets Raw Campus and Ashkal Awan and Casa Tres Patios and Amamal and etc., etc.? Some stuff begins to form in our discussions, so we're open to each other all the time, which is not that easy. But we're interested in finding that thing out.
I mean, the other idea is also the whole discussion about knowledge as a material, and what is knowledge, and when does whatever becomes knowledge, and when does it becomes useful, and how is it translated, how is it used, how is it transformed? Is news and information, we were hearing about it earlier this morning, is that knowledge? And when does information and news, Mike, become that knowledge? So, and also this really very strong need of sharing experiences and sharing methodologies. And this idea of simultaneity. We really don't think that we can recreate the wheel as such, but we can contribute to a larger kind of expansion of sharing methodologies in producing knowledge.